to Smyrna Beach. Danielle, 1 second. The camera's got to get in position. Yes, we do. 6 is required. We have more than that. Good evening, everyone. It's the October 11th meeting of the Metroplex Board of Directors. We welcome everyone to downtown Schenectady. Beautiful fall day for our meeting, and for those watching on YouTube or on public access television. I want to start the meeting with recognition that this, unfortunately, is going to be Nancy Casso's last meeting. It's good for her, bad for us. She's retiring to sunny Florida after many years of dedicated service to Schenectady County, Rotterdam, and just done a great job. Has been a great board member, and we thank her for her service. And really hope you keep in touch, because we always loved it when you stop by the office, and you're a great board member, very active, very supportive. So thank you.
Well, thank you. It's been an honor and a privilege, and I'll miss it.
Thanks.
I'll miss it. I'll miss you all.
Follow us on Facebook.
Yes,
and that's a good message for the public to hear. We are doing a much better job on social media, thanks to Danielle's great work, and Instagram. So please follow us and keep in touch. Speaking of Rotterdam, where you are always very active, we sometimes don't do as good a job as we should in celebrating our success. We sent out notification, had tremendous coverage in the press, that we were able to land a company called Jupiter Bach. This is a company that is a tier 1 supplier to the wind turbine industry. They have facilities in Pensacola, Florida, China, Poland, Lithuania, and they're headquartered in Denmark. And they're leasing 50,000 square feet with an option to expand in the Rotterdam Corporate Park, creating some 20-some jobs, and with the potential to grow to 100. They're a major supplier to GE, and they had the opportunity to locate basically any place in the Northeast. They wanted to be up here and participate in the offshore wind industry that is taking off in the Northeast. And we heard they were looking. In fact, Danielle got the first call, and we jumped right on it. And I want to thank the casino, because we put people up at the casino. We entertained the company. We showed them a lot of attention, and we were able to land them. And again, I think back to my days at the state, when we had referrals like this and companies looking, we never even got a response from Schenectady. We would send leads, active leads, to the Economic Development Group of Schenectady, and hear nothing, crickets. But I got to tell you now, and you'll see further evidence of this tonight on the agenda, when people are looking or we hear about opportunities, we chase them very aggressively. And more often than not, we win. And this is a sea change that's happened in Schenectady since our Unified Economic Development team came in 2004. So we're very proud of that win. I want to thank the team at the Gillespie Group, who we work closely with. I put a lot of hours into this deal. We're talking to other wind suppliers now, and we think this is going to be a great opportunity. It's also an important point. We'd ask that you share this with your friends and colleagues. I still have too many people in this community, including people who are in leadership positions, referring to GE as something in our past. When the fact is, the campus downtown is alive with activity. The campus in this unit is alive with activity. The wind turbine work assembly line is online. They're adding jobs. They're investing money. And so please, as you're out talking to folks, especially the holiday season approaches, please keep sending that message along with the other messages we send, that this is very important, that people recognize. And not only are we getting more jobs at GE, we're also getting jobs at some of their suppliers now, which is great. So wanted to open with that meeting with that sad news that Nancy's leaving, but good news that more companies continue to move to Schenectady, and we have another one on the agenda tonight that we're very excited about. Next item is the approval of the minutes of the August 9th meeting. I have a motion. Sharon, seconded by Karen. Any comments, suggestions, corrections? Seeing none, all those in favor of adopting the minutes say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next up is our treasurer's report.
So far, actuals through September, sales tax is at $7,534,881, and we're gonna exceed, I think, this budgetary amount. So I want to commend fact that we were conservative with this, with our budget numbers. Our total income is $8,264,278. Our cash and equivalents at the end of the reporting period is $5,457,395, and we have $8.4 million in undistributed project commitments currently. We're looking at pre-development expense with an available balance of $161,765. We're in very, very good fiscal health right now, and I think it will only get better.
Great. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll have a motion. We need a motion, right, to accept the treasurer's report. Sharon, seconded by Brad. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of adopting the treasurer's report, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Move right into our agenda tonight and start with some good news. A major international software company opening their New York State office in downtown Schenectady. We'll ask David to summarize the project related to the MTX group.
Yeah, I think Ray forgot to bring up this Memorial Day or 4th of July that you gave up to get Jupiter Bond.
Yes,
Here,
yes.
as we were all
Their
with our
holidays
family.
and ours don't match. So their CEO decided to come in. I think we had one visit on Memorial Day weekend and the other on July 4th weekend. So thanks for talking about that.
Yeah. So
They don't have 4th of July in Denmark, so I learned.
well, with this one, again, as Ray said, a global information technology company. They use AI technology to help companies, large and small, governments modernize their data using health monitoring, licensing, permitting. A really great company. Local ties. The owner, Daz Noble, he is originally from, went to Siena, made a large gift to Siena in the past, $35 million. They want to set up their offices here in Schenectady. There's some vacant space on top of Bowtie Cinemas, roughly 9,300 square feet. They would be bringing 25 employees to downtown, expand to 50, join our other growing digital and technology companies, Janelle Group, TransFinder, among others. Our participation would be $100,000 of rental assistance, fit-up assistance, and $50,000 that goes for improvements to the vacant space, make it more modern for this growing company.
Any motion on that?
So
Karen, seconded by Brad. Just a couple comments. This is a floor. Siemens is at the 2 floors above the movie theater. They consolidated to 1 floor. They had some cutbacks. Again, people work at home. The office market right now is very weak. So when we get an office lead, we're extremely competitive and aggressive in pursuing the lead. We heard this company might be interested. They actually had some experiences in Albany that were not in line with their thinking. And we approached them. We cold called them. Had a series of meetings, and we're very proud to bring this forward tonight. They're bringing not only the MTX group, but a company they own, which is steeped in the AI industry. As David said, the big thing in economic development now is clusters. People want to cluster around like companies. We have a very strong software cluster downtown. So this adds a lot of energy to that cluster. It's very exciting, dynamic growth company. And we're really proud to move this forward tonight and get the word out. Last week we announced a company from out of state moving into Schenectady. This week we'll be doing another nice announcement. So happy to answer any questions. Again, want to thank the Gillespie Group. They own this space, work with us. We were the lead on the deal, and they were very supportive, and thank the city as well. Seeing no questions, we'll call the questions. All those in favor of Resolution 1670-23, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. Next, we go to the Hamilton Hill neighborhood of Schenectady, a project that is extremely exciting, and happy to bring this forward tonight as well. We have 2 resolutions related to the Schenectady 40s. We have a couple of slides to show you. So we'll ask Jamie. See that? I'm sorry.
He's probably still watching.
He's probably watching. David, who's doing a great job to summarize the 2 resolutions that we need to review.
Did a lot of work on housing, so this is a natural one for me. I think Ray and Steve for the work on those 2 actions to move this forward. Really exciting project, moving up Albany Street. One is to designate Metroplex as lead agency for the secret review, environmental review. Helps the other agencies that might be involved move the environmental review process forward. and then holding a public hearing. The project takes 11 parcels fronting on Albany Street, some on Page and Hewlett. It is basically, if you go up Albany Street, you're going to see a lot of really new positive redevelopment. And then there's these properties that you look at that are either burnt out or in areas of neglect, and you say, what happened to those? Well, these are those properties. They were all owned by one owner who's out of town, notorious. It was known as the Schenectady 40 portfolio. Real thanks to the city of Schenectady for being utilizing the laws that are there to enforce code enforcement in such an effective way to have these properties go to receivership and allowing a project like this to be proposed. Significant housing investment. It takes these parcels, gets the blight removed, and makes way for what would be up to a $40 million investment in new quality housing, some other commercial uses. Again, those are the two actions. Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I'd like to get a motion on the secret resolution. Sharon, I know you're very excited about moving this forward tonight, and Karen, just a little bit more background. These have been around forever. Scattered site development, an owner from Maryland who badly neglected these properties for years. And we're sending the message very clearly now. We're not accepting that. You can't live in your mansion in Maryland and treat Schenectady badly. Because if you do, we're coming after you. And that's what the city did here. They basically just enforced the code and repeatedly took action against this owner until the fines that were levied reached over $700,000. And then the city law department took this individual to court and won, and a receiver or referee was appointed by the court to sell these properties and satisfy the fine of $760,000 by the sale of the property. That's all great, and we thank the city legal department, one of the biggest successes in the legal department's history in Schenectady, and the code enforcement folks and the mayor just did a fantastic job. This has been going on way too long. The next issue was who's going to buy these properties. Some of them, we already had other slumlords looking at buying these properties and snapping them up, which would have just gotten us right back to where we started. So our team, and we're very happy to have Steve back because he's so expert in this, and David reached out to two developers, community builders, and Five Corners Development. And they are going to purchase these properties. It's great news for city taxpayers because they're going to get $760,000 put into the city treasury. We're going to help them with demolition and abatement, of course, first asbestos, and then demolition. Clear these vacant, blighted, burnt out buildings and prep them for development. And this development group, as David said, has great plans for moving forward with a development along this Albany Street corridor. This is a very important measure we're taking tonight. It's solving a problem that dates back a long time in Schenectady, and we're sending this message to out-of-state landlords that they're not going to be able to carry on like this anymore. So we're very thankful to the whole team that's put this together. There's been $80 million of new investment in Hamilton Hill in the last few years because of this team. The issue is, as David said, is you drive up, there's some beautiful buildings now, but there are a lot of buildings, and we'll show you pictures of them in a minute, that are horrible. Guess what? This guy owned them all. Mm-hmm. They were all in his portfolio. And we are, asking you to take action tonight to clean them up, get rid of them. And this is one of those, and it's an overused phrase. It's a win-win-win because the city gets $760,000, which is meaningful. We get these two proven developers to work with us. Community Builders is the one, they've already invested $60 million in Hamilton Hill. So this is protecting their own investment, which is significant. And so we're really pleased to move this forward. Do we have a picture so we can just show? I'll get my stuff out of the way.
Is it for the pictures?
Yeah. Keep going. Yeah, this is some of the blight that you're looking at. Horrible property vacant. This one is, as you drive up Albany Street on the left side, it's unbelievable. it really hits you in the face, Nancy, like you said, because they had a fire and it's just, again, this is why the city was able to go back and go after this gentleman for code violations, because you can't have a property look like that.
Right next to Chaz Birch Plumbing Supply,
Yes.
we just made a terrific
Just
investment.
yes, thank you, David, good point. This one is a boarded up bodega in horrible condition, I mean, literally imploding. Another one marked with graffiti. Again, in the distance there, if you go back, sorry, Steve, that's the John Apartments there. So that's a great development, and there's a vacant lot next door, which they'll be purchasing as well as part of this project. Another one. So this gives you an idea of the properties, the seven demos. Our investment is modest, $250,000 toward demolition costs, $300,000 toward remediation. But here's the good news: the development team does the first 300. They believe that'll be adequate to do the asbestos and the remediation that's needed. Ours is the second tranche of 300. So we're only going to spend that 300 if needed, and we'll keep you updated about this. But then we're in the back seat on that second tranche of money. So really, our initial investment is $250,000. Again, only if the asbestos cost. And I got to tell you, this team, having just taken down 11 buildings, downtown and in the neighborhoods, we know what the costs are going to be. We have a good idea. So our cost estimates are good. Not mine, David and Steve's are. I can't. But thanks to them, we feel very confident that 350 is going to be adequate, or 300, excuse me. It's going to be adequate, but we're in the back seat on that. So I wanted to make that point clear. So the first, any other comments from them? Yeah, I know Sharon, you wanted to.
Well,
Or this one.
I just want to say how much I appreciate everything that everyone has done. I worked at Schenectady Community Action Program in the 1970s, and already those buildings were having problems, and it just has deteriorated over the years, and it has just been one awful thing after another. So this is going to make a major difference in Hamilton Hill.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
We're excited to move forward.
It's
Any
a
other
nice
questions?
structured deal too. I think I like the way you put that, the way you structured that. Was-
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
So I was reading, I was like, all right. nice
Mhm.
job.
Is that landlord history? The landlord? that
He
owns
won't be in
buildings?
Schenectady anymore when this is done.
Is he out?
That they put into receivership all of his properties in Schenectady.
Does he have any claim at all, or?
I mean, the legal process is still kind of ongoing, but they're in receivership. The city can enter into a contract, which they did, to sell the properties.
We're buying them from the court-appointed referee,
Yeah.
and this guy continues to file frivolous lawsuits, which the city is countering. So he continues to tie up time. This gentleman, and this is going to shock you, he did 2 weeks in jail over this. The city he was such a recalcitrant bad actor on the code side that his failure to comply actually resulted in him going to jail for 2 weeks. But
Here?
yes,
He came here and went to jail?
Yeah.
Nice.
rather than do the right thing. So it's been a full court effort,
Wow.
and hopefully we'll never have to deal with him again. But good question, because we're still having we are we have a clear path to buy it from the court-appointed referee, and we didn't want them to just sell it to the low bidder. Because that wouldn't have done anybody any good. Any other questions? First resolution is seeker. We have a motion and a
I make
second.
the motion.
We need a motion and a second.
Sharon and Karen
Sharon
did the
and
first one. The second
Okay,
one
Brad,
is,
did you have any comments? Oh, yeah, we'll vote then. All in favor of the first seeker resolution, say aye. Any opposed? Thank you. The next is to authorize the holding of a public hearing. And because we're potentially spending more than $500,000, we have to take this to a public hearing. So we need a motion and a second on that. Neil, second by Sharon. Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Very important, and I really want to thank Steve and the whole team that's been involved, David. Very, very good effort. Next, we go to Center Street downtown, and David is very familiar with this project, having done other developments on Center Street. We'll ask him to give us a wrap up.
thank you. So another great example of working with the city. The city's currently reconstructing Center Street right now, dealing with some of the flooding issues. enhancing parking. We worked with the Blands before, Thomas and Alexandra Bland. They own 10 North Center, which was a warehouse. They turned into 3 apartments and then a woodworking studio for their business, then their design studio. This is the vacant property next door at 12 North Center. It's 4,200 square feet. They'd like to convert that property as well, make them quality apartments. Our involvement would be a $50,000 facade grant. Total investment in the property is over $600,000. We'd also provide sales use and mortgage tax exemption. The Bank of Greene County is providing the financing on the project.
Have a motion on this? Karen, seconded by Brad. Discussion. I want to thank David and the city team for getting this one done. Any other comments or questions? Very modest investment by us, but a good investment. It's an area that has a lot of potential. Seeing no other question, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Next, we go to Glenville. Great project there, has a lot of potential. A rocket science project, headquarters project. And I saved this on ours.
Yeah, Rocket Science Corporation is an international digital game and software development company. If you noticed in the material, the digital game industry is almost $1 billion, $976 million in New York State. Huge cluster to what Ray mentioned before here in the capital region of gaming jobs. Empire State Development was high on this. It takes a vacant building, 8,800 square feet at a pretty prominent corner in Glenville, and encourages a $1.6 million investment to create 40 to 50 jobs, taking a real blighting influence on that corridor and turning it into a very attractive building. It will include a Capital District gaming studio as well as headquarters for their business. Anticipated to bring 40 to 50 jobs to Schenectady County.
A motion on this, Bob. Would you like to move this? Thank you. Second, Karen. This project is a good example of our partnership with Empire State Development. They were lead on this. They are really encouraging the gaming cluster, which is red hot in Troy. We're not as strong in that cluster as we want to be. The community college, our SUNY Schenectady has programs in gaming. We have a couple of gaming companies at our shared workspace downtown, the Urban Co-works. But we want to be more active here. This gentleman, Brian Corrigan, is one of the leaders in that industry in the region. Very dynamic individual and really sees an opportunity. His company now is located in Saratoga County, really likes the 50 corridor, sees the growth in Schenectady, sees the activity in Saratoga, and wants to be on that corridor. Bought an old firehouse, had a kind of a false start with a bad contractor who started work out there, a little bit of a delay, but he's off and running now, the contractor. Great, puts this property on the tax rolls for the first time because it's been a firehouse. A lot of excitement in the community. We work closely with the town of Glenville on this. We thank the supervisor and the team in Glenville, the building inspectors, and the whole team out there. I want to thank Mark Storty from the county planning office for his help. But great reuse of an abandoned firehouse. Great location, and a lot of interest from young people in Glenville and throughout the community about potentially working here. They're going to have a lot of internship opportunities and things like this. This parent company is doing very well. This will be their headquarters. They just opened an office in Wales. They're a growing company. And so we're really happy to move this. Our investment is very modest. We're doing the sales tax. They already bought the building, so we're not doing the mortgage tax. And we're going to do a pilot. We've worked that out with the town, as we always do, to basically look at, once they make the improvements, that we phase in an increase. But they'll pay more taxes. First of all, the building was, as I said, I'm repeating this, I'm sorry, but it was the firehouse, so it never paid taxes. So it'll step up the increases. So it'll pay more and more and more as time goes forward. So we're very happy to move this forward. I don't know, Bob, if you want to make any comments. I know this is something that people
Very welcome, and we thought it was going to happen, a year or two ago, and it'll be nice to see that cleaned up because it's been bad for a long time.
Yeah.
So what's their time frame for completion?
They're off and running now, and we provided a temporary sales tax certificate, thanks to Danielle's help, to get them going. So that they had delay with their other contractor. They let them go and have a new contractor on. So
Yeah, we'll find out what the schedule is.
It's gonna be a year. It's a
It
big
is.
build. It's a
Yeah,
big-
I
it's
was
a big
gonna say,
building.
it's a
We've
huge
been out there.
building.
It's a very cool building now. The wide open spaces, you know, where the fire truck, it has a great history. It's gonna be a very cool space. So. happy
Great
to-
project.
Yeah, very cool project. And really, the state, we're very careful about taking credit for things that we do and not taking credit for things. The state really did this job. A gentleman named Joe Landy at Empire State Development really worked this deal. And we were a supporting role, as was the town, and a good supporting role. And our investment is very modest. The state put up a very nice incentive for this company. So they're in the front seat, and we're playing a supporting role. Any other questions? Seeing none, we'll call the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Next, we go to the budget.
The Finance Committee reviewed the budget at our September 21st meeting. Tonia's not here today. She worked extremely hard to come up with what I think is a pretty impressive budget. She's out sick. She's been very helpful, not only with the finance side, the budget preparation, but operations as well. What you'll see, to Karen's point, we continue to be pretty conservative with our sales tax revenue estimates, keeping it roughly around $10 million, actually at $10 million. On the expense side, you'll see some increases. There's staff positions that we've had in the budget in the past that we haven't filled. We'd like to continue to grow our staff, create pipelines for people to grow into certain positions. Very happy to have Steve here and his wealth of experience. I don't think he's going to be around here for 15, 20 years though. So Ray will be here forever. Yeah, that's the increase you'll see in the personnel expense. Pre-development, we've also increased it slightly. A lot of these downtown revitalization initiative projects will move forward this year. But overall, about $4 million in discretionary funding to continue our impressive slate of projects, which is a forever growing slate.
Okay, I need a motion on this. Somebody from the Finance Committee, I hope. Brad, seconded by Karen. Thank you for all your help.
No, I have to tell you, this is a very good budget, and Tanya did a phenomenal job in getting this together. I mean, this is a Herculean act, especially with the state of what's going on in the economy around us. I think maintaining a more conservative line is the way to go, and she did a great job. So
And
the
we're in
entire
line with the
team.
county's projections as well.
Oh, good. Okay. All right.
So,
That's perfect.
any other comments on the budget? Yes.
My comment is the proposed sales tax receipts. In 22, we were 11 million. The forecast for this year, as far as 11,000,003, and we're only projecting 10 million. I would think that should be a bit higher, maybe 10.5, unless there's some real reason why we go back to a number that preceded 2022. That just seems like a very conservative estimate.
Yeah,
Well,
I think
we
that
could-
we've been trying to be conservative. Look, I mean, combination of a lot of construction costs because of low interest rates. That environment has since changed. There was some inflation. Obviously, the cost of gasoline affects our sales tax receipts. This is in line with what the county is projecting for next year. And, it was the recommendation of the Finance Committee. Do you have any other?
I think we threw this around a lot. We discussed it at length, and the consensus was to be more conservative because we're going into unforeseen territory right now with the economic changes that are happening in and around the world and in and around the United States. So I think the county is saying that we're in agreement and in line with the county and what their projections are. So I would hold the line at 10 million, and quite frankly, if we go above it, that's great. We'll have some surplus, but I would rather us be more conservative on that line.
Two comments. One, anyone on the board is welcome to go to the Finance Committee meetings and participate. That's where the work is done for that kind of activity. So if you have concerns or items like that, please come to the meetings. We send the notice to the meetings to everybody, not just the members of the committee. Secondly, we really revisit the budget every month. So we look at the budget.
Yeah.
If we hopefully can adjust it upwards, That'll be great. We are seeing some slowdown. One of the reasons we're being aggressive on offers, where we had lowered them a little bit, was we're seeing a slowdown on the construction side. The numbers aren't penciling out for projects for developers because the interest rates are going up. So we are somewhat concerned. So I agree with the cautious approach. Any other questions? Seeing none, we'll call the question on the resolution 1675-23 to adopt the budget. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, all those will adopt, the budget is adopted. Again, I want to thank the finance committee for all their work. And for Tonya, who's at home ill, we wish her well. She's got this cold that's going around. Sounds like some of you at the board meetings, and I have this as well. I just got over it, so thank goodness. Next, it's an item that helps us with our staff participation in the New York Deferred Compensation Program last January. David,
You'll get it, you'll get it.
20
Well, this
years.
is, yeah, 20 years is the same thing. It's
Yeah.
tough. Jamie had better hair than me, so it's it's a little pet project of mine. I was an investment advisor before. I always think people should have the opportunities that exist to save in the most productive way for them. You know, whether that's for retirement, a Roth option or a pre-tax option, the traditional option. This is available to state governments, called the 457 plan, equivalent to a 401k. We never opted in. It's something that I'd like to encourage the staff to participate in, and we just need a board resolution to do so. So I hope I can get your support. No cost to
No cost.
Metroplex.
Need a motion? Sharon, seconded by Karen. Any discussion?
I think it's a great idea.
Personally,
Yeah.
just a question. Is this fully administered by the state then? So we don't have to plan.
Oh, it's just basically sending the money
To
to
them.
the state program.
I know,
Yeah.
it's not a,
Low cost
there's no
investment
lifting
option.
on our part.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, with the Roth option and everything now, it really is a no-brainer to do it.
Any other comments, questions? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Next, we turn to the land bank, where we're certainly seeing a lot of activity. I'm going to ask David to say.
Yeah, I want to thank the whole staff here. Jen's been doing great work with our parking system, a lot of our operations. Tony, obviously, with the budget. We talked about some projects, and specifically ones in Glenville, which Danielle's been a real partner and a great team member here. Here with the land bank, again, bringing Steve on board. There was new funding that came through. We administer the land bank. We have since 2016. It's been a great tool to what we've been doing here to not only assist in our downtown work, but also in the neighborhoods and in communities like some of our neighboring suburban areas. Niskayuna, we've done a lot of work helping them with their zombie properties, vacant property registry. It's a terrific tool that the state's investing in. There's additional funding that came through specifically for administration of the land bank. So we have the ability to increase our administration agreement with the land bank for the next few years, up from what we originally had been doing when the funding came from the Attorney General and then Enterprise Community Partners. So this allows us to just continue providing those services to the land bank through Metroplex staff at an increased amount. $127,000 per year. So.
Have a motion on this?
I'll make a motion.
Karen, seconded by Sharon. Just a couple of comments. When the Metroplex legislation was passed, it's important for especially those of the public who are watching. It basically said Metroplex cannot touch any one or two family home in the city. But if you think about the city, it's very densely populated. The bulk of the neighborhoods, this was a flaw in the original legislation that we've overcome by all the good work of setting up the land bank with the county sponsorship. And the county is providing a very nice revenue stream. How much was it this year?
Yeah, last year they over $800,000 that the county invested to basically match what is the state funding for administration, and then $1.5 million in project support.
Right, which David wrote that grant, and that's the grant that allowed us to bring Steve back. And so the land bank's been a great tool to allow us to address blight. And one of the surprising things, and we talked about this at our meeting recently in Town Hall, Doc, is you don't think of Niskayuna as having blighted properties, but it does. And we've attacked quite a number of these blighted properties in Niskayuna and in Glenville, and all throughout the county by using the land bank. So we're blessed to have it, and we ask for your support on this item tonight. Any further questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next up is public comment. If anyone, there's no one from the public, this gentleman is here. Are you in the public comments? Thank you. Board comment, I'd like to start. The Monet exhibit is opening on Sunday. We're very excited about that. We worked hard to land the Van Gogh exhibit. We're doing a media day on Friday. We expect, we have 4 major media outlets lined up to do a sneak preview. Our folks in Discover Schenectady were on Channel 10 with the owner of the Armory the other day at noontime. Great exposure. The CEO of the Exhibition Hub, John Zoller, is coming into town Friday to do the media tour with us. So we're very excited about that. I want to thank John and his team. They're working like crazy. Like they literally are doing a 24-hour setup right now, working around the clock to get the new exhibit ready for opening on Sunday. And it's going to be a race. They told us they're going to need every minute of time between now and Sunday. But you know, the Van Gogh exhibit brought 130,000 people to town. A lot of those folks stayed. Many of them came from outside the area. You'd be surprised. The numbers were incredible. And we hope for similar success with Monet. So please make your reservations and participate and come on down to the Monet exhibit. Board comment on other subjects. I know Neil wanted something before we turn to him.
So as long as we're staying on the Armory is doing a Harvest Fest, and then they have like a haunted castle kind of thing. So I actually went the other night, and it's really very nice. So
Good.
highly
The haunted
recommend.
castle? It's
No,
not
no,
too
no,
scary?
no. I took
Oh,
I
okay.
took the little ones. We went to the little pumpkin thing around, and they had a really good. It was very perfect for a 2 and a 4-year-old.
That's
So.
great.
So just wanted to, as long as we're staying on the Armory, I think that they're doing a great job there, drawing people to downtown. So it's
And
a
we're
nice
gonna have 2 events going on, or multiple, because you have the horror event, you have the kids event,
and
and
then
Monet upstairs.
right. So
Which is
it's going to
very
be jam packed. So
Yeah.
hopefully
Be
we have
great.
enough parking, which I think we do.
Yeah.
Quite frankly.
Yeah.
So thank
Doc.
you.
I just want to let everybody know that last month, Ray did a presentation to Niskuna Economic Development Historical Preservation Board in terms of what this board has done in terms of helping Niskuna realize its economic goals. It was an outstanding presentation. They were still talking about it at our meeting this month. Very pleased. Basically, nearly everyone in that meeting, I think everyone in that meeting was unaware of about 90% of the stuff that you were saying. And it really shows just the commitment of the board to the town of Niskuna. So thank you for that.
I think it was fun. It was a great meeting. We're glad to be out there as we are. You know, one of the points we made with one board member the other night is this staff is out almost every night of the week at functions. More often than being at functions, we're at planning boards. I was at Princetown Town Board. I wish Todd was here. I talked about that. You know, we're at planning boards, zoning boards. We're at meetings many nights during the week, and feel bad when David has to do that, to be away from his young family, but
Get off of bath time sometimes.
that's actually a good
Hopefully your wife's not
sign you up.
watching.
Yeah, I hope she's not watching.
She's doing bath time.
But it's important to be out there, and we have to make sure that our projects get approved. It's not simply a matter of us announcing the project. The project has to get approved, because we don't operate in a vacuum. We operate in a team, and we've got to work with the towns and the city to get anything approved. So any other comments from the board?
I want to thank you, because I know you guys are out there all the time. I remember seeing you at these meetings.
Yeah.
And we really appreciate the fact that you are so committed to ensuring that these projects get done. And
There were 2 last night. There was a public hearing on the two-way J, which is close to happening finally downtown, which is great. There were no comments at all. And then the county legislature adopted the budget, or is getting close to adopting the budget in the city as well. So any other comments? I know Neil has some comments that he wanted to make, so we'll let you go.
Okay, tonight we're going to talk a little bit about market research. I wrote a note to you in the comments that you got. I'll read the first paragraph I wrote. Seems to me that one of the objectives of Metroplex would be that as we grow Schenectady, we should also elevate the reputation of our city and the pride of our citizens. Would anybody disagree with that? I would hope not. For 23 years, Metroplex is focused on bricks and mortar and leases and contracts and all sorts of great stuff. And I certainly give the team 100%, 150% compliments for what's been accomplished here. And as we sit here tonight and listen to what's coming, it's still exciting to hear all the things that are going on. But we need to do a little market research to find out how the people are feeling. And what we've done is we've learned some things, because I've learned in my business that if you don't do market research and you think you're the best at something, and then you do market research and you find out you're not, it turns you in another direction. What do we do to fix it? So anyway, just some of the comments here. We asked a number of questions in the Schenectady area. We covered all the areas. You can see the detail of the respondents and so forth. And the question asked residents, the rate, Schenectady's direction, we find that just over 4 in 10 see things in Schenectady have gotten better. 4 in 10. I'm not sure that's enough, but, and out of 3 residents, 1 of 3 residents, 36% see things have gotten worse. Believe it or not, people around here see that. That's what they're telling us in the research. And the remaining 21%, things in Schenectady have stayed the same. Or if you add those two things up, 36 plus 21, 57% see us as worse, or they don't have a clue as to what's going on. Now that may be a surprise, but that's what the people are telling us, and suggests maybe we got to do a better job telling them what's going on. We need to inform them. The most positive attitudes towards Schenectady's direction is found among residents of Niskayuna, where over half, 51%, see things has gotten better. And the most negative opinion is found among residents living in Rotterdam, where half, 50%, see Schenectady's direction as having gotten worse. And it's interesting that when the sales tax report comes out and the payments that the Metroplex is making over these number of years, Rotterdam's gotten almost $27 million from Metroplex. Are we telling them about it? Are we letting people know what we're doing there? Because they don't seem to know it.
Well, I can, if you want to, I mean, you're going to make that kind of comment. I don't know if you want to address it or what, we hold our comments.
No, I'm not asking. I'm just saying, you gave us this information. Sure. They're getting a lot of money.
Right.
And when we do the research, it doesn't seem like people are getting the message. That's my point.
Well, it's a simple point. You know, you were part of this group. The Metroplex board prior to 2004, under the failed leadership of the Jarzynski, Robertson, Hall regime, allowed the towns who got the money from Metroplex under your direction as a board member at that time to simply deposit the money in their general funds instead of using it for the designated purposes of economic development. So Rotterdam has not used the $27 million for economic development. They put it in the general fund. And in some cases, I mean, that's their decision under the Metroplex law. But it was a mistake made by people who were running economic development in Schenectady, the same group I was talking about before, who were ineffective and didn't respond and weren't proactive. So that's the answer to your question about that funding. If you want to talk about our projects in Rotterdam, we could do that because we have an extensive resume there. But keep going. I don't want to interrupt you.
Well, my point being what you just
I
said.
take tremendous umbrage at your first opening line where you say, and you've glided over this in your reading of it, which is we focus on bricks and mortars, leases and contracts, and little, if any, concern for citizen feelings and reactions. I think that's a very,
that's what I meant by research. We haven't really talked to the people to get their feelings and reactions to what we've done.
I strongly disagree with that comment. And you also remember, because you sat on so many of these meetings, every project requires public notification, public hearings, public input, etc. So I really take umbrage with that, but please continue. Time is of the essence.
Let me tell you something. If I tell everybody who shops at my store and I think I got the best meat, and I go out and do market research and find out that somebody else has got a better reputation than I do, I better pay attention to it.
Right.
And that's why you do research to find out
That's
stuff
not,
like
that's
this.
not the point I'm addressing. The point I'm addressing is your quote that we focused on bricks and mortar, which we did because when they focused on soft money loans under the Robertson, Hull, Jasinski era, they had a loan failure rate of
That's history.
40%.
That-
But
that's
Neil,
history.
then you said we have had little, if any, concern for citizens' feelings and reactions. I think that's a very damning and inaccurate statement, and I take serious offense at it. But
And I'm
please
saying
continue
to
with your
you that
with your
market
comment.
research that
But-
we've done demonstrates that we have some work to do. And that's why we've done
Okay,
it.
continue.
And back in 2020, we held a meeting where we had some 20 community leaders, and we talked about developing a brand for Schenectady. And it's been since then that we've
Continue.
done this research now 5 times, and we're basically getting the same feedback. And what we're sharing here is that the people, many of them are not getting the message yet. And we've got to do a better job of giving them the message. Look, you've done great work. We've done
Little
great
concern.
work. But
Okay, go
a
ahead.
lot of people are not getting the message.
As you say to us when we're talking at the meeting, call a question, call a question. You always say that when we're talking and we go on too long. So you always say to me, call a question, Ray, call a question.
Let me go on.
Sure.
Is that what you're saying? Okay, okay. The most positive attitudes towards Schenectady's direction is found among residents of Niskuna, where over half see things have gotten better. And the most negative opinion is from the residents of Rotterdam, where only 50% see we've gotten better. These overall findings are highly consistent with resident attitudes found in December of 22 survey, which was comprised of about the same number of people. No change in public perception is measured in these 2 surveys. 9 to 10 residents in Schenectady report they are aware of changes, which is good, and growth that are happening in Schenectady. Just under 1 out of 3 residents say they are very aware, and 6 out of 10 rate their awareness as being somewhat aware. Okay. The highest level of awareness of change is found among the residents living in the city of Schenectady. Among longer-term residents living in Schenectady over 20 years, they see a higher proportion of things happening in the right direction. Residents' attitudes towards specific changes in Schenectady. 8 independent questions on resident attitudes towards life in Schenectady were asked.
Neil, with all due respect, we shared this document with the board. They all saw it and read it before the meeting. I don't know if you want to,
Well, I want to make a couple points.
okay, go ahead.
Give me another
We
couple
did
minutes.
provide the summary to everyone.
Sometimes it takes.
I'm sure everyone read it.
Sometimes it takes a little extra. Topping the resident ratings was Schenectady should promote itself more regarding the positive changes that have happened. And this number over the past number of years is still up in the high 70s. 70% of the people are saying we should tell the people more often about what we're doing. They're telling us, and that's been repeated a number of times. 3 other factors, we find significant majority of residents agreeing that Schenectady has more options for dining and entertainment, 70% agree. Schenectady has improved its overall appearance, they certainly 68%. And Schenectady is growing and attracting business, that's great. Awareness and New Schenectady campaign. We started this campaign in April of this year. In April, I raised this issue with the board. The board's never voted on whether they would support the New Schenectady campaign, but be that as it is. Schenectady residents were asked their awareness. Had they seen or heard of the campaign about New Schenectady? And just under 6 in 10, 57% report they have an awareness of New Schenectady campaign. This can be compared against residents' overall awareness for Discover Schenectady being at 50%, and 27% of residents being familiar with what Discover Schenectady does as an agency. And I had gone to them and suggested that we team up and work together, because the whole purpose of New Schenectady was designed to improve the pride and the reputation of our city. And I said, wouldn't it be great if Discover Schenectady became Discover New Schenectady? Well, they didn't buy that. Overall awareness of New Schenectady is highest among residents of the city, 62%. Great. And Niskuna is 62%, and slightly lower among Rotterdam residents at 51%. When asked if Schenectady is living up to the name New Schenectady, 4 in 10 residents said they didn't know or were not sure, but over 1 in 5 thought the New Schenectady name did fit Schenectady. among Niskuna residents, we find this to be even higher, and just 1% is here. New Schenectady has also engendered benefits beyond name recognition, with 1 in 6 residents feeling that New Schenectady gives them a sense of pride about living in the community. And that's what the whole thing was about, giving Schenectady residents, county residents, Schenectady residents, pride of living in the community. And some people have said, it feels good to live in this community now when you hear really good comments. So that's my report on this.
Thank you.
One more thing before we close.
Okay.
Okay? And that is that tonight I am turning in my resignation to the Metroplex Development Authority. I started in Schenectady some 30 years ago. I'm going to be 86 in a few weeks, and I figure enough is enough. I don't know how you are, but for you, I guess it is. I have been with this organization. I've been with Ray since we started in 2004. And all of the accomplishments have been made since 2004. And I commend Ray and his team on the really phenomenal development in this city. We are proud of it. I am proud of it. We should all be very proud of what's been accomplished. When we originally started back in the early 1990s, we had to kick some butt in Schenectady because we had to clean it up. That was our first objective. We created Schenectady 2000 to do that. And then later on, towards 98, Bob Farley and I wrote and developed the Metroplex Development Authority legislation. We lobbied not only the county, but also New York State and the governor. And that's how we got the Metroplex Development Authority, which has been the economic engine, which has driven this community and made it much easier for Ray and his team to operate. During these years, I think I've been at almost 100% of the meetings. I've only missed a couple. And I've supported this organization on every project that we have tonight that you put in front of us over all these years. And so I feel good that the new Schenectady has an opportunity to bring enjoyment to the people. And I would suggest that we support the idea of New Schenectady, because it has a very good message for all of our residents. And in the final analysis, we're doing it for the people of Schenectady. That's why we're doing all this stuff, to make it better for them. So with that, Ray, here's my document, and this will be my last meeting.
Well, thank you for your service, Neil. Certainly been a pleasure working with you, and you certainly got Schenectady at the top of your mind and in your efforts all these years, and we appreciate everything you've done. Any other comments from the board or anything on the board comment? If not, take a motion to adjourn. Sharon, second. Karen, all those in favor? Have a good night.
Neil, thank you for all your time, energy, and effort. Thank you, Neil.
And I wish